16, the Indoor War, the 2024 Indoor Football Championship. It is the Rattlers once again in the title game. They got Massachusetts tomorrow, and joining us now from Las Vegas. Very busy today as the big game's tomorrow, but he's taking some time for us. Kevin Guy joins us here on Rock Manucci. Coach, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for some time right here. I know you're busy today. Thank you.
Hey, you're welcome, man. Glad to join. Ready to go.
I gotta ask you, you've really never booked a vacation in the middle of like late August, right? I mean, because you're always got extended play, postseason play. You can't take a vacation.
You know, it's funny you say that. We were just talking last night. Coaching arena indoor football for so long, unless we get a bye week during the summer, my summer vacations have went away over the last 20 years. And now that my kids are playing sports, we go right into football season once this is over. And I have to try to figure something out in December or January.
Arizona Rattlers head coach Kevin Guy joining us here on Fox Sports 910. All right, Coach, you look at the season. Some say the season started, kind of slow. You're 1-4, but those losses were 2 points, 6 points, 10. They were closer games than you look when you look at the record. But either way, they were losses. What did you change to get this team rolling?
Well, this was a year of adversity, and we had a lot going on this year. Our head athletic trainer had a car wreck in training camp, the last week of training camp, and was severely injured, and it was basically out for the season. And then the very next week we started playing games. We had a rash of injuries at the beginning of the season, and we just for the next, I even came out and told the fan base early in the season. I said, look, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because we had like 9 injuries, and we're already playing with a small roster, and you got a 25-man roster and 4 injured reserve spots. So when that happened, we were kind of roster locked. We couldn't make any moves. Our young guys were having to come and play. It made us better in the long run because they got a lot of experience, while a lot of our guys that we hang our hats on were hurt. The other thing was I underestimated the move from our practice facility in Mesa to Glendale on how big of a move that was going to be. Mm-hmm. We made that move 1 week in a bye week, and it was very, very tiring. One of my coaches had some health issues, and it took him about 2 months to snap out of it. And we were just dealing with a lot of adversity. And during that time, we moved on from some guys that I just didn't feel like were a fit in the locker room from a character standpoint. And we just, it was just up and down adversity, but we got it right. And we got hot at the end of the season. And even though we kept those games close, I knew that once we got everybody back, we should start winning, a lot more games. And, I think we won 9 of our last 10 and got hot. And then, I thought we played really well in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. So I'm always a little worried when you take that bye week in between, the semifinal conference championship game and the national championship game, and because we were hot, and I wanted to keep the momentum going. But I thought we had a good week of practice. I think our guys are ready to go. We're very confident right now, and we're looking to have a good day.
And Coach, we'll get into Dalton Sneed as far as him being your quarterback, but Garrett Kettle comes in and does a bang-up job at quarterback as well too, to have a couple of key backups in those roles. You talk about those injuries, but talk about Garrett coming in and kind of holding the fort down until Dalton got better.
He did, and every quarterback that we have, they all have a different skill set, and for me, I was talking about this with some of the coaches on the way up to Vegas, was that we had Dalton in training camp, and we went to play our first game. He got hurt in the first half of the first game. Garrett came in and finished that game, played really well. We lose the next 3. We did bring in a veteran quarterback during that time, and we played him over Garrett because Garrett was still learning the offense, and then we relied on Garrett a little later in the season, and we came up with some big wins against Iowa and Tucson with Garrett playing quarterback, and he's just a great fit in the locker room. I think he really supports Dalton really well, but then Dalton came back, and I really didn't have a lot of time working with Dalton, so as a play caller, I'm dealing with 3 different quarterbacks. They all 3 have different skill sets, and we run the offense different. So it took me another 3 or 4 weeks to get used to calling plays for Dalton and trying to use his skill set to his strengths. And, and it all worked out. But, it was good. We've had a good run. We got, both those guys, Dalton and Garrett, are really good leaders in the locker room, and I've enjoyed coaching both of them.
And speaking of Dalton, we had him on Wednesday, Coach, talking about the season and kind of echoed what you just said. But he said when things started clicking, so when you guys got healthy, obviously, but he says probably right before the playoffs started that you guys finally, everybody was in tune, in sync. And on top of that, everybody was finally healthy.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you got to have a little luck, right? And being healthy is part of it. And even when we got Dalton back, he came back, played 1 game, his first game back after he missed like 6 weeks. His first game back in practice the very next week, he got hurt again, and he missed the next game. It was just up and down. It was a roller coaster. And for me, I had to put a lot more hours than I'm used to putting in, coaching that position and designing the play calls for that game, because it was somebody different every week. And, we were trying to call the plays to what their skill set was. Listen, the good news is, tough times don't last. Tough people do. And I got to give all the players credit for holding it together. They stayed together, and we just kept, practicing and growing. And as we got closer to the playoffs, you could see that we were getting better and better every week. And I've done this a long time and had a lot of playoff teams that made runs to the championship team. And I could just see that we were headed that direction. And, obviously it gave the coaches a lot of confidence going down the back stretch. And we're all in it together, and we got all our boats paddling in the same direction.
Kevin Guy, head coach, Arizona Rattlers. He got the championship game tomorrow in Henderson, Nevada. Coach, you said you've been doing this a long time. We know that. You've been coming on our show for many, many years. Is it maybe it's too premature until this game is played tomorrow, but how does this team stack up to the teams that you have coached that have won championships, because you have a lot of them?
Well, this one's this one's kind of difficult to gauge because so many guys were out for periods of time throughout the season. We certainly saw some talent. I thought our coaching staff did a good job of developing some young guys around some of the veterans that we had. And, I hate comparing teams to other teams because they all got their own identity, right? But, it was really hard to gauge throughout the year. And I kept saying to myself, man, and we were close. I mean, listen, Garrett missed 6 weeks. He came back. He got hurt again. And we were at the point where, we haven't missed the playoffs since I took this program over. And I was very, very close to bringing in, a free agent quarterback in the middle of the season and go with it, because we didn't know if we were going to be able to keep guys healthy. And it was starting to get crunch time where, hey, we had to start getting on a roll or we were going to miss the playoffs. And luckily Dalton got healthy and got going and we got on the same page. He's a fun guy to coach. He does a great job of going out and understanding the offense. Number one, when they got some intelligence to him, it's easy as a play caller to talk to him about what adjustments we're going to make during the game. He's one of those kind of guys. And again, he's done a great job for us.
Well, Coach, I know you're calling the offense and the defense this year. Is that a first for you? And number two, what is the mantra for this team, if you can pin that down?
I've done it for 15 years. I've called both for a long time. And I had only twice in my career have I had an offensive coordinator, and it was very hard to handle, clock management. It was hard to manage clock management when you're having a radio out there on the headset and tell them, hey, call a timeout, run the football. We want to catch the ball and get out of bounds here. And I just, and Jay Gruden told me one time, don't hire somebody for something you can do yourself. And that's always stuck with me. And I just felt like, hey, you know what? My name's on this thing. I got to be pushing the buttons here. And, that's just the way I've always done it.
Coach, kick some ass tomorrow. Get another one. We're going to be watching CBS Sports Network tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Thanks for time. We know you got a bunch of obligations this afternoon, so thank you.
Hey, I appreciate you guys.
You got
Talk
it.
to you soon. Thank
You got it. Kevin Guy joining us, head coach Arizona Rattlers. They got Massachusetts tomorrow for the Indoor Football League Championship there on CBS Sports Network.
Yeah, I remember that when they started off really slow, injuries, talked about the trainer, and thank goodness he's doing a lot better. But they were just very uncharacteristic for a Rattlers team to be this out of sorts. Injuries, Dalton gets hurt, Garrett comes in, then they have another guy. Then all of a sudden, about 4 weeks ago, like they started to get it. And everybody came together. Dalton was healthy, and got a little bit of luck. And they pretty much 2 weeks ago, Dalton runs a 2-yard touchdown to win the game, and things are starting to come together. So hopefully they can pull this out against Massachusetts tomorrow at 1 o'clock.
He is joined thanks to our friends at All City Towing, the largest towing company in the state. They are hiring, and they have a bunch of jobs. Lot attendants, drivers, call takers, dispatchers, customer service. The list goes on and on. They got a healthy 401k employer match, health benefits, employer paid life insurance. How about that? And monthly fuel allowances. There's more than what I just mentioned. Go to the website, allcitytowing.com. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, visit them at allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on move. Coming up, it's our Football at 50. ESPN fires two of their big-name stars on Sunday